did something on a cruise ship too. You put it, it's like a little patch on your ear, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got two.
Do we wanna put those here before we start?
Where you going, Lois?
She's gonna make the picture, she has one shot in this before.
Somebody can Photoshop you in, I bet.
Yeah, we can.
My sister doesn't do it Photoshop. That kind of stinks. Yeah.
So sad and happy, but.
I know a guy was going to Denmark in the combat killers club in the army. And, but his dad couldn't even tell me where he's going, cause he wouldn't tell his dad either. Just so you go to Denmark, he wouldn't say where he's going. Leave it in a couple days.
Hotspot over there.
Oh, this kid, that's what he signed up for. This kid signed up for that kind of stuff, so.
Yeah.
there's-
Yeah, he's in the Marines, what do you expect?
How's Ford?
He had his first, immunotherapy, it's not
Immune therapy?
therapy. And I talked to him this morning and he said no rash, so he's praying he's not gonna get allergic. 1 to 2 years.
Oh, it's that bad?
Every 3 weeks.
Wow.
Every 3 weeks. No, it's not chemo. It's supposed to make your immune system kill the cancer cells.
Come on in.
Sherry. Here. Hold up here.
We're gonna put Tom here anyway.
Or, oh, he's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't start yet.
Pardon?
Jim Shaw.
No, what's matter?
This one.
Is Shaw on this?
No.
He's the head of the shelter.
Yeah.
You're spoken to.
Okay, it's 1:04, we call the committee on committee to order. First meeting of business, discussion possible motion, interviews for District 19 County Board Supervisors.
And I would like to, have the minutes reflect that I'm abstaining from the discussion and the vote on this.
Mr. Rushing to abstaining and voting. Noted.
Good, can I go?
You are ready to roll.
Okay, I'm Ashley, I'm the Human Resources Manager here, so we have 5 questions that we came up with for the board members interview. So we're gonna take turns with you 3 asking, or answering the questions, and I'll just kinda go around the room who we asked the question to first, so, I'll start with you, Tom, with the first question, if that's okay. So, the first question is, why are you interested in becoming a Rusk County board member? And I'll have you answer first.
I'm just interested in, coming out and just representing the community and just trying to set forth what I would think would be best and what would be most beneficial for everybody here.
Eddie, I'll have you answer next.
I'm the greenhorn of the group, probably been around longer than anybody else, but as far as getting involved in yourself sitting back and complaining and reading things that are going on instead of doing something positive. And I think it's just a good way to get involved, find out what is going on and what can I offer, what do I have that might help. the business.
And then Dan, why are you interested in becoming a Rusk County board member?
Well, I didn't wanna get off, but I wasn't gonna run, because I wasn't gonna walk through the snow to get signatures. Cool. And, I just like, and the other thing is, it's more of a first time you're on, and I wasn't on for full time, but first time you're on, it's more of a learning experience than anything else. That's why you don't say a lot, I didn't say much at all, because you're learning, everything you're doing, you're learning. Now I figure that I can probably be of more use to the county board. I was mayor for 12 years, and the city for 26, so I can see both sides of the coin. And I've often said that the city could be here, and the county could be there for 6 months, you both learn a lot, because, everybody's right. So. But, I just wanna keep going with what I was doing.
The second question, and we'll start with you, Betty, for this one. What relevant experiences do you have that you feel would qualify you to be a Rusk County board member?
All my adult life has been spent in education and business, serving on boards, school boards. When you work in the schools, you're involved in, there's always politics involved, but it's in the school, whether it's, in whatever area you're in. And I just think that experience in leadership lends itself to being able to listen and to share and to be eyes and ears to do the best that we can.
And Dan, what relevant experiences do you have that you feel would qualify you to be a Rusk County board member?
I think the biggest experience is the fact that I'm from here, and was educated here, and left for 11 years and came back because both of our folks started getting older, so we came back to help them. But originally, I'm from here, and I can tell you stories that, at the elementary school, the old elementary, that used to be the city dome. I don't wanna make up a whole bunch of stories, where you don't need to show that, but that used to be the city dome, and I was the only one to do that. And I said, my gosh, I said, we had fires every night, and you catch turtles and tadpoles and everything else, that's where the kids played. And I was right in that playground, so, anyway, I think it's advantageous to have somebody that's originally from the area, so you know the whole history, not just what you hear.
And Thomas, what relevant experiences do you have that you feel would qualify you to be a Rusk County board member?
Well, I don't really have much experience in politics or anything, so I'd be fairly new. I'd be open ears to everything, and I would lean on my fellow members also as asking questions and being quite transparent to everything that's going around me. Like Dan said, probably quiet the first couple of times as you get your feet wet, and just leadership standpoint from the things I do outside of here. When I'm out repping a ball game or something, it's always transparency, because there's always somebody that's not gonna like the call you're gonna make, so you gotta not be afraid to make a decision that's not gonna make people happy or is not gonna agree with everybody.
So this last one, or this third question, we have 5 total. The third question, Dan, we'll start with you for this one. How do you view the role of a board member? So how do you view your role?
Every personality is different, and I think a board member's gotta be known in the community as a board member, so people can ask you questions, so that you can, enlighten them, not just what you get off the, so you're so big.
Thomas, how do you view the role of a board member?
I view it as like a leadership role, and you're the voice for the people in your district, so I feel like you should always have open mind and never feel like that an individual should be able to contact you no matter the time or day. I just feel like everything should be open and honest and upfront, so that everybody has an
Betty, how do you view the role of a board member?
I just think you need to be someone who can be open, honest, fair, flexible, and accessible to those who are in the district that you live in, so they know they have someone who's representing their best interest. You can listen to both sides, you can be a part of whatever's going on, and make the best decision for your constituents.
Okay. Number 4, Thomas, we'll go back to you for the answering first. What skills, expertise, and perspectives would you bring to the Rusk County Board?
Well, I'm young, I'm fresh, and I'm willing to learn, and it would be something that, you know, I would be looking to serve on for multiple years, so it's not like I'm just gonna be a one-term thing. I would look at it to be, you know, an extensive thing, and I would just hope that, you know, just the being upfront and honest with everybody and transparent, that I would make a good candidate for it.
Betty, what skills, expertise, and perspective would you bring to the Rusk County Board?
I'm not young like you are. I'm young at heart, okay? I'm one who never sits back and doesn't get involved. If I'm gonna be a part of something, I'm gonna jump in with both feet and do the very best that I can in, whatever area we need to serve. So I think I'd be a go-getter for whatever needs to be done.
And Dan, what skills, expertise, and perspective would you bring to the Rusk County Board?
Well, here I'm going back to when I was the mayor. You know, you learn, what is regulated by the state, that and everything else, and everybody thinks that the county board knows everything, they don't. So I could do that. Let me shut this off, please. And you learn the people from different people that are points of contact when you're, you know, that are in Madison, that you can take advantage of them. And after a while, you learn to know some of them people, and, you know, I joke and stand and, you know, I got a question for you. And so that happens, that can happen a lot, and it's advice that I can give, even here, and even on a local level. When it comes to the bidding process, I've done a lot of bidding processes. I've hired policemen for 20 years. Had a meeting last night, right here, and, got another one next week. So there's a different point of it, you know, compared to maybe a lot of other people. It's an advantage. I had 26 years.
And the 5th and final question that we have, Betty, we'll start with you. Do you have any issues with committing the sufficient time required to fulfill the board duties?
As of the 31st of May, I have retired from teaching, so I'm going to have time to do this. No, I would not have a problem with time. And sometimes I think new, fresh ideas are often welcome. Other times they would like to use things that have always been the same old, same old. So I definitely bring a new perspective, probably beginning to know everything. So I'll have time.
Anything else you'd like to share with everybody regarding becoming a county board member?
It would just be a new experience and something I think could be learned. I think a lot of people should become more involved. So when you do know what's going on, rather than sit back and just, you know, why this is going on, why that's going on. Dig in and find out, offer what you can, listen to what you can, and do the best you can.
Dan, do you have any issues with committing the sufficient time required to fulfill the board duties? And then feel free to share anything else you'd like us to know.
No, I guess not. I got the time, but I wouldn't be here. And that's important because it can be, 8 o'clock in the morning, so there's no way that, you know, even if you're what else you make?
Once you know and you forgot it.
Built one.
Anything
I don't need right now.
No. Okay. And then,
I forgot my privileges.
Thomas, do you have any issues with committing the sufficient time required to fulfill the board duties? Then feel free to share anything else that you'd want the committee to know.
No, going into it, I knew that it'd be, time constrained and I'm gonna put it forth into my schedule and make this thing work so that if anything's possible, it can be done. Then, just my thing, had I known that my seat was up for election, I would've had my name on the ballot, so it isn't just something that was the last minute thing. I just misunderstood, I had thought that term had ran longer, so by the time I knew, it was too late, so it was something that I had considered, and then when the spot opened last year, I didn't realize that I lived in, District 19, so I didn't put my name in
Where do you live?
then, right on Phillips Avenue.
Oh, I thought so.
Right there on that cul-de-sac.
Anything else you'd like to share?
No.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Well, last time we voted by paper ballot is what we did. So, that's.
About discussion or anything, or we can do that.
Yeah, they,
Can we either close session?
It's not-
there wasn't last time, so they can leave it, and if you guys want to have some discussion, we can.
Yeah. If we could. Please.
Thank you.
We can call you guys back in then.
Yeah, right.
Go sit there. Go sit in the chair.
You know, take a chair out with you. Stand in the hall, stand in the hall.
I do have one question I'd like to ask him. This is pretty much fluff question, there's nothing really hard to it. I'd like to ask him, sitting on a committee, you get inside knowledge and a lot more than anybody else does on the details. Yet you go back to your area and everybody is against it because they heard all this other stuff. How are you going to deal with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. We can ask all three of them when they come in.
We understand that, but they might not, that, as a board member, you can discuss what you heard against you.
Well, you can and you can't sometimes.
Right,
yeah.
but that would have to be explained.
Because what are you gonna do when hard times come? We've all been through them on the board.
Well, it comes down to, we have to make that hard decision, and
And you know
What are you
stuff,
gonna
you've sat at
do?
meetings, you've got all this information, everything else out there is various things.
and also, if you gotta make the decision based on what you know to, and your constituents tell you not to vote, no, or yes, or you do that.
Yeah.
I think we've all been in that seat.
Yeah.
But that's not a question.
I know.
They can answer now.
And that's really, I guess we would, well, what's everybody think? You wanna ask that question now?
Well, whenever we get done with this, because I presume we're gonna go back in, I like paper ballots for now.
I'm gonna go pay for that one.
Yeah. And I don't know if anybody else has any other things they wanna do.
I just wonder about Dan's help. You can't.
Can't ask that.
No, but
We should
You can
discuss
wonder
that.
about, you can wonder about.
I know, but we should discuss that either.
Yeah.
So, I'll just wait and see if anybody else has any discuss with us.
I think they all gave very good answers. And it's gonna be a tough choice.
Do you have to do the same thing you do with the other meetings? Get down to 2 candidates? Get the vote? Have you discussed this yet? Okay. Until it's a majority. So we're like, you might eliminate a third candidate. Or you keep voting with the same 3 candidates until somebody gets a majority, correct?
It's 2, 2, and 3, there's no majority, so you'd have to vote again until.
It'll be 2-2.
So it has to be
Oh, that's
until you
right, I
get 3.
forgot about that. He
Good job.
confuses it all.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Until it's 3-1.
Well, I think they're all very good candidates. It's gonna be a hard decision. I don't have any other questions, right? You answered them pretty straight up. Other than that, does anybody else have anything? Other than your question, I'll ask you.
I'm just asking if everybody thinks that they should be asked that question or not.
I would say so.
I think it's a good situational question. They might not know exactly, but you can ask them
But if
how
you've
they're
been thinking
handling
about running for county board, and you're in Rusk County, and you know what's going on.
Is it just right?
Do you want me to bring them back in?
Yeah, and we'll let Phil ask that question, and then, almost want to stay up in that area.
Sure.
Don't want that to stay.
That's fine. You're free to come back in. They have one more question for you and then we'll vote, so, yeah. Then we'll vote. So if you guys could sit around like the horseshoe area on the chairs on the outside, we'll ask the questions from there and then do the voting.
Huh?
But-
They did find it.
No, they are-
Yeah, we'll have you sit somewhere on the outside.
You don't repeat that, I know, but-
Not in the middle right now. Thank you.
You can sit in Jim's seat.
I'll let you ask.
Okay, I asked my counterparts if I could ask one question, and they all agreed. So the question is, you sit on committees, whatever, you get a lot more information than the public does. With what's going on right now, and anybody saying, you have your constituents come up with all these questions, but they don't wanna hear what you've learned. That's your job, to get all the all the facts. How do you deal with that? Is that clear enough for everybody, or?
Dan would be up first.
Well, first of all, you know, if there's anything that, can't be shared, then it shouldn't be said.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way I look at it. I give them I always tell them, you might not like the answer you're gonna get, but this is the truth of it, you can check. So I just tell them what they wanna hear. Excuse me, I just tell them what they wanna know. If I can answer it, then I do. If I can't, I'll give them the answer. That's it.
Do you want the question repeated?
Yes, please. If you got it written down, if not, I think I remember it.
I got it written in my brain, so we're all in trouble.
I think I would.
Basically, you sit on a committee, say one committee, you learn all the facts, you get a lot more facts than anybody else does. Some are closed, some are open, some you can reveal, some you can't. But you get back out there and the committee's already, your people have already decided what the answer is, and they start bugging you. How do you handle that when you know all the facts?
I would just tell them that only what was discussed in open session that the public could hear or see. If they had a deeper question, then I would just bring it up at the next committee meeting and figure out what type of answer we could give them to make them sufficient enough to be okay with it. But But I feel like anything too deep would have to be brought up in a discussion so that it wasn't leaked, something was leaked out or misinterpreted. Also, where if you asked a community member, they could tell you, yep, we can tell them this much, but that would be it. So it would be, basically, I would tell them what I could tell them on the public side, and then after that, it would be brought up in the next group, say, hey, so-and-so had this question. What more could we tell them, or what could we tell them more to help them?
I think first thing you need to do is, thank them for even coming to you to ask or to make statements. Because they're gonna come to you either way, whether it's something that they're in favor, hey, or the other. And to know that they're there and be able to listen to them, hear them out. That's what they mainly want. They want to be heard, what they've got to say. And then come back with what you can to answer what their concerns are, or present different sides. Not that you have to go into a lot. But I think to respect them for coming to you and give them what you can. So it eases their mind to know that you're doing what you can to represent them.
Good with that?
Yep. Just wanted to throw that question out there.
Want us to leave again?
No.
No, you're good. Okay, right now, I announced this, right? Okay, it's, 2 votes Dan and 2 votes Betty. Don't we keep voting with the same thing? Like we did with the board?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Or everybody agrees on splitting their line, that's happened in a lot of township elections.
Try it again. Just so everybody's aware, we keep voting with the same 3 candidates until we get a majority vote. Two votes Dan, 2 votes Betty. So just write like this,
Nice, have that third one, Phil.
just write like the second round one.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay.
1, 2.
Level 17.
I'm like, I told you 15, it's like this.
Two votes Dan, 2 votes Betty.
So,
Just keep going. Do we just have to keep voting until somebody changes or no?
I had another meeting. Just saying.
Sorry.
The fourth round is 2 votes Dan, 2 votes Betty.
I mean, I can call Rich, yeah.
See what he's done, but
Are there further questions that they would have that would,
That's what I thought too, asking additional questions. Is that
I just would, yeah.
Just give me a second here. I got his number.
Yeah, I was just talking to him, well, he's not here, but he answered. You have to think of some more questions.
Do you have a criminal record?
No, I just have a habit for it.
No, my questions were pretty funny.
I think that. You know me, I say what I think.
I appreciate that, I do appreciate that. I just have to give you a hard time.
Give me
Yeah.
just a second, I'm gonna lock this.
My daughter works till 5.
There was some really good.
If they have to keep going. Oh my goodness,
Some questions like that, somebody.
that's crazy.
Because my other daughter, she'll always go to a wedding show. It's Geneva. So she has to leave home by 6 o'clock, so I have to just wait in the airport.
Scorching girls. I'll save some time, I still wants to be part of that, agenda. Whoever gets a position, just get those committees.
Yeah, I left a message to you too, but he was gone, and it's.
That's somebody else.
Hey, so we keep having a tie, huh? You will be here till 10 o'clock at night until there's a majority. I'm just reminding you, so if it's tie, you guys are gonna do this over and over until you guys have a majority.
we got the point.
Okay, alrighty.
Can we order in supper?
What do you,
Breakfast?
what are you up there?
Hang on, cause we're gonna do white this time, okay?
Oh, okay, yep, okay. Okay, yeah, sounds good, Just, finance it through you guys.
probably won't be in time.
It probably wouldn't be a tie if there were five.
No, there won't be a tie.
I don't know, magically like change.
Yeah.
The fifth round is 2 votes Betty, 2 votes Dan.
I might have to go get some ream paper.
I can appreciate everybody wanting to change their minds.
Okay.
sixth round is 2 votes Dan, 2 votes Betty.
No paper there for that one.
I voted yeah.
Yep, that's
Two.
As I said, yeah, no paper.
I got two here.
I'm gonna catch it.
The seventh round is 2 votes Dan, 2 votes Betty.
We're over.
The eighth round is 2 votes Betty, 2 votes Dan.
Got more paper there.
The ninth round is 2 votes Dan, 2 votes Betty.
Do you want me to go to your office and get a green paper?
I haven't torn these in half now. They were left over even, but I may have to call.
The 10th round is 2 votes Dan, 2 votes Betty. Eleventh round, 2 votes Dan, 2 votes Betty.
Forestry appreciates this, so keep on voting.
Round 12 is 3 votes Dan, 1 vote Betty.
I was gonna have supper on the county.
Dan, welcome to the board again.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you both
Thank
very
you
much
all.
for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Remember, there's another election coming up inside of 2 years.
We will, thank you.
Thank you.
Coming back in now, Phil?
Outside of my personal.
You did the right thing.
Yeah, you did.
Based on what I told you.
Yeah. Yes, you did the right thing.
Very good. All right, second thing on the addendum that we got here. Discussion, possible motion, appointments, to vacancies in property committees and joint management.
Right, highway was a voted position, so we have to take care of that at county board.
Yeah.
Right, so the two vacancies are the property committee and the joint management, correct?
Yes.
Are you good with those boards? Property committee and joint management?
Yeah, property, what was that one?
Joint management?
And I'm not real wild about that one, but I'll do it. What's the other one?
Well, the other one was highway, but that one's gotta be appointed by the board, so that one's kinda open until we get to that point.
Alright, so I got those two then.
Yeah, those two,
Alright,
property and joint management.
how often does joint management meet?
Once a month.
At the end of the month, once a month.
Like the last Thursday.
Yeah, it's like the last
Yeah.
Thursday of the month.
Yeah.
So,
At 3:00.
keep everybody honest, so.
I'll make the motion to appoint Dan to property and joint management.
And a motion by Mr. Undershoots to appoint Dan to the property committee and joint management, and second by Mr. Phil Schneider. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, do I have to be sworn in or sworn at or something?
Yep, I'll swear you in.
She'll swear at you.
I know she will.
Don't say that.
This
Okay.
should probably be described because we have our
Yeah.
individual stuff on.
Yeah, I think he's got
I can
to-
do that. And I'll
Yeah,
check
Back
that.
to the clerk.
These have the letters.
Yeah, letters, yeah, and then back to the
Yeah,
clerk.
those back to those.
I will shred everything.
I'm just gonna give you the whole packet. Shred it.
Yeah.
Do that?
Well, if we kept on voting, we probably could've got more stumpage next round.
So we need approval of these minutes. Not one. I want to put it on the ad hoc. So we will post it
So like for an approval for the minutes for,
today.
May 16th, 2024. So, motion by Mr. Phil Undershoot, or Phil Schneider.
Yeah, I just clarify what I'm gonna say, does it say that I abstained from both
It does.
discussion and the vote? But I
I
wanna,
said undershoots abstained. You want more?
I would prefer more, because I think it's appropriate if somebody's gonna abstain from voting.
From the
They should
discussion?
abstain from the discussion, because you can also influence somebody by being in the discussion, even if you're not voting.
I got it.
You're good.
I appreciate
I put it in there.
Room, if you were going to not have anything to do, you should.
What is a public meeting? So I took a chair among
Right,
others.
but if you were, a lot of times.
One time we got that ruling, because you could sit there and make facial gestures and
Right.
influence somebody, so.
I guess that's something I would know next time, I just didn't really.
Learning curve,
I think it's a little ridiculous.
it's a learning curve. First by Mr. Schneider to approve the minutes, is there a second? Second by Ms. Bowen. Good. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Minutes approved, motion carried. What? Where's your?
See you, some of you, sure.